Okay. So let's say, for example, if you go to buy PlayStation, right? And it's in a big box and it's got the controllers in there. Probably only one these days. It's kind of ridiculous. They used to give, of course, they would give a pair of controllers. But anyway, so you go to the counter and you make this kind of comment. You say, okay, well, how much is this PlayStation? They tell you the price, and you say, okay, well, there's a controller in there. How much is that controller? And they say, oh, well, I told you the price, but I want to know how much it is. I want to know how much a controller is, and then what's the total price? And the sales staff says, well, that's all baked into the price. The controller, uh, the connectors and stuff, that's all baked into the price. Okay? Baked in. So let's take a look at what this is all about. Let's see if I got this right here. No, I don't, of course. Good thing I checked it. Okay. I finally remembered to check it. Okay, so this is butter cake, right? So let's imagine that somebody said, like, you invited somebody over and you served them butter cake, right? And somebody says, oh, well, hang on, where's the butter? I thought you said that I was going to have butter cake. I don't see any butter. And you say, well, it's baked in, okay? So you can't see it because it's baked in. Oh, okay. So you can't see pieces of butter here, right? Because it's thoroughly baked in. It's one uh, thing. It's butter cake. You can't separate it anymore without. Well, you just couldn't do it. You couldn't separate the butter from the cake anymore. Okay. So even this is chocolate chip cake with chocolate chips baked in, and somebody'd say, "Oh, well, I don't like chocolate chips." Let's imagine somebody says, "I don't like chocolate chips," and so you're basically, if you don't like chocolate chips, you're not going to eat the cake because it's baked in. Can you remove the chocolate chips? No, not now, because those chocolate chips are baked in. Well, I'm allergic to chocolate. Well, don't eat that cake then because those chocolate chips are baked in. Okay, even this thing, it's kind of like the cheese is baked in, right? It means let's go back here. It's one unit now, especially this butter cake. If you're hungry, I'm sorry, because we're looking at food now. Like it's one monolithic thing. So I actually could not find a good definition for baked in because you're supposed to be able to like sort of imagine it, right? Nobody taught me the meaning of it. I can just sort of imagine it because, you know, we say this all the time. It's got cheese baked in. It's got whatever. It's baked in. Okay? So I made up a definition. Baked in means thoroughly integrated into an inseparable monolith. Mono means one thing, right? Monolithic means it's one. Okay. So this guy is talking about um, this drone, and he says baked into the Mavic's controls are a series of intelligent flight modes. In other words, you don't have to buy a separate software. You don't have to download anything to get these special flight modes. Like sometimes it will return back to you. Uh, it will go up and do maybe a spin or something. I don't know, but these intelligent flight modes, which uh, you know, causes it to behave in a way that you would probably want it to. Okay, so we use this a lot. It's baked in, right? So if I were to give English lessons, right, and like let's say the student, like let's say I start writing vocabulary down on a piece of paper, and this a student would never say this because they understand, but you write down vocabulary, and the student says, and so you hand them the sheet at the end of the lesson, and they say, "How much did you charge me for extra for this?" You know, writing down this vocabulary, and I say, it's just kind of baked into the price, right? Um, but anytime you buy a stock, you like let's say if you were to buy something on the stock market, uh, you don't have to worry about potential risks, and you don't have to look at the price earnings ratios and all of this stuff because somebody already did that. The price wouldn't be what the price is if there wasn't um, somebody who already, so like the price would not be cheaper than it is. It's higher, as high as it is for a reason. you know People professionally project these things, and they look at the situation. Okay, it could be a little off, but these competitive forces of the thing make it so that the risk is already baked into it, right? So you take a startup company, and the price. Somebody might say, well, it's a new company. It's going to be more risky, right? And it's a new concept, so I don't want to buy that because it's going to be risky. You don't have to think about it because that's already baked into the price. Okay. And so I won't charge you any extra for the third and the fourth example because that's all baked in, right? For the price of basically free. All right. So I will talk to you on the next idiom.